Action.
What happened to the black family, man? Where'd it go?
The black woman being able to make money.
So since a black woman can make money, that created some type of separation in the black community?
Yeah, because she won't say. A woman naturally is competing with her man for control. So the idea in this country, no matter what race you are, is that he who has the goal and now she who has the goal and maybe binarily who has the gold rules. And so when you have that kind of dynamic in a household, you emasculate a man. Women are out here emasculating men with money. Okay, if you don't make this, then you're not a real man. You just had Cheyenne Bryan
Well, that's
say.
just a thought. Go ahead. Cheyenne Bryan said what?
You just heard her say that there's a lot of bread most of the time, and statistics do back this up. Most of the time, women are making the money. They are the breadwinners. So that man in that household, that husband, is not valuable. He's considered a low-value man because he's not making as much money as that woman is.
Does that man have any type of moral compass? Does he have any ethics or anything? Because money doesn't make me valuable. There are a lot of women right now who promote themselves on the internet and they sell pictures of their body for money, and that doesn't make her valuable
at all.
There are men who are doing hard labor in America just to show up, holding America together. I think that's a real big deal. We undersell the value of a man. They say blue collar labor. Man, that's the blood, sweat, and tears of America. Without these gentlemen, there is nothing. There is nothing.
Here's a question that I have, though. For millennials, your parents were baby boomers. When did you ever see just one of them working? Especially if you were a latchkey kid. When did we ever see in our community that just one parent worked? Now, this is not the silent generation. The silent generation, they could afford that. But by the time we got to the 80s and 90s, you had both parents out of the household working. So when did you ever just see that your dad was taking care of all the bills and allowing your mother to go out and spend the money as she pleased?
That was my household. That's how I grew up. My dad was a truck driver. In the 70s, when he chose this profession, it was a high-paying job. It probably paid more than you get in a college degree. Being a tradesman in America has always, we've always rewarded the men who do the hard stuff. The people who build the things, we used to reward them. And so now when you don't incentivize those traits and those skills, when you value social media influencers, when you value actors and basketball players and people like this here, you devalue all the cool guys out here holding it down for making sure that your streets are safe. Those are the policemen. Making sure your house don't burn up. Those are the firemen. Making sure that you got AT&T. Those are the linemen that come out. It'd be a lot of minority guys out there wearing them boots, lugging those tools around to make sure I got a slow-ass internet connection. You hear me? They keep me in the game. No, 18 megabytes a second. Y'all do poor people dirty. So when you say that the purse is controlling America, I understand. And so when I see men choosing to say they want to vote for a woman, I understand. Our culture is so perverted, we forgot what power is. To be in a position of power, you have to be able to defend that power. If someone else has to defend your power, that means they're powerful, not you. And so we want the president of the United States of America to be an old man or maybe a woman, but these people don't have the physical capacity to defend themselves when they are supposed to be the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military in the world. How dare you? How dare you?
This is why we've talked so much about the labor force. This is why we need black men to be able to be in the labor force without any interference of crazy immigration policy, so they can take care of themselves, take care of their families. We do need to have unions. We do need to have wage increases for building the infrastructure of America. Maybe we'd have better roads. Maybe we'd have better infrastructure when we come to our power lines and things of that nature. We have made it to where black men are essentially not really in the workforce and resorting to go to criminality. Then you do have these women that are in position to say, hey, because I'm making this much money, I run this household, I am the leader here, I should be in power, and that's out of order.
You know what strong men do?
What's
Man,
that?
they go and defend things, right? When we started off this by asking what happened to the black family. And so when we ask what happened to the black family, we got to first ask what happened to the black man. Because in order to have a community, in order to have anything, you have to have people willing to fight for it. And now the black men in the black community, when they're willing to fight for something, you know where they go? To the penitentiary. When black men are willing to fight for something, you know where they go? To the graveyard. And so when we're losing our soldiers to the penitentiary, when we're losing our soldiers on these streets, the men who actually have the balls to go fight for what they believe in, Then all the other cowards look at them and say, "You seen what happened to him? I don't want that to happen to me." And so since black men are choosing not to fight for what they believe in, there is an erosion of the black family, because once upon a time, if my daughter told me that she was going to go sell herself, I'm not going to say, "Yes, baby, I support you.
Right.
I affirm who you are. Go be that bad bitch you know yourself to be." As a black father, I don't have any black daughters, but I know that I want to, my little black sons, I don't want them running around with shag heads. No. I want you to be presentable. I want the world to receive you as your best possible self. Hey, forget all that nonsense of just show up as you are. Hell no. Man, we're supposed to be excellent. We're supposed to do the best that we can. I'm supposed to be the best father that I can.
There's also essentially no family planning. I mean, every time that I made a commentary on this broken family situation and I suggested marriage, I suggested abstinence, there was so much pushback on this. There was so much pushback on planning out a family. Here's another thing too. Finding your mate and making a plan can alleviate a lot of stress. Knowing who you're going to have as your life partner to raise this family with, instead of having all these baby mamas and baby daddies out here. Again, supporting debauchery, like you say. You go through your Explore page, are you seeing this tits and ass?
Up to this day right now, my father, he really doesn't ask me very many questions. He tells me to do things, and I listen to my father because I respect his authority. And even in his old age, he'll reach into his pocket and pull out a knife and gut a nigga, you understand? Like the savvy of being a man on how to defend yourself, the art of diplomacy, how to negotiate on behalf of your family, how to negotiate on behalf of your coworker, how to intercede for others. This is men choosing to be excellent. Hey, we don't have the luxury of like women. They just be like, accept me as I am. Hell no, ain't nobody gonna accept no lazy ass nigga. No. You can't just sit around here and goddamn eat my food and suck up my air and not contribute shit.
Women, let's just go ahead and be real. What y'all gonna do when the debauchery and the perversion of this society just breaks this entire community down around you, and it ain't no money for you? It ain't no way for you to provide for yourself, because all these ancillary jobs and all these little prissy jobs that y'all are getting, all this scamming y'all doing to make this money, when all that goes away, what are you going to do? Remember the bear, the man? I'd rather be with the bear. That idiotic ideology. What are you going to do when all of your resources are gone? Who are you going to run to? Because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Hey, that story about the bear, that is the internet devouring itself. Like, it's just eating itself up, that you ran out of content, and so you have to create something to say. Hey, the world is very simple, okay? Like, the economy that we have right now is an economy that's built on sand. You know what happens when it erodes, it washes away because it just has no strong foundation. And so if men in America don't choose to be strong, and however to be strong, right? You have to be creative, you have to be innovative. If the market doesn't exist, then you have to create the market. And so right now, this conversation that we're having, I'm only having this conversation in the digital realm to activate you motherfuckers in the real world, okay? Yeah. Because I need 10 million of you men on child support, you got felonies, and so you've been excommunicated from actually participating in society. And so once you can't participate in the above ground economy, you go to the black market, and we're risking our lives. We're one step away from prison again, and we're just like letting it. It's okay. It's not okay, brother. It's not okay. I'm not okay with this stuff.
Hey, when you get married, you cleave as one. There is no she's making more money, she's the breadwinner. Even he's the breadwinner. You got to get rid of.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I can't tell you what to do, there is no marriage.
I'll get there.
Yeah. We're talking about marriage and partnerships, and I value you. If you cannot do what I ask you to do, there is no marriage. There is no submission. It's not even a question. If you cannot do what I ask you to do, there is no marriage.
But they're not doing what someone wants them to do who doesn't make more money than them. So they got to be educated. Like, everything to a woman is about how much money he's making. You got this high value man nonsense out of it. Hey, fuck it. We finna run. I don't want to censor myself or whatever. I'll leave that to the editing. Hey, it's some fucking stupid ass bullshit out here in terms of it's some bullshit out here in terms of what's a valuable man or not. There are gender roles. There are certain shit your ass can't do. There are certain shit that men can do. But guess what? Traditionally, we've always had labor jobs. Women are going to college. You're going to make more money. But there are things that your man needs to do in the household. There are things that you can't manage. You need that man to come in there and do that. You have to understand that's why we have gender roles. Also, you not running shit because you got some money. You're not in control because our gender roles don't change because you're making more money than me. The reason why I address that is because you got this stupid ass ideology out right now. I don't want to join my banks with you. I don't want to put money in the account with you. I'm running shit because I have the money. That is childish thinking. And the Bible even says treat the woman as weaker vessels. That's what the fuck y'all are.
What man would ever even have that conversation with his woman?
It's happening. It happens a lot.
And so for the men who are allowing that conversation to happen to them, then they deserve exactly what's happening to them.
But I think all women enter into that arena at some point. You're going to have some issue with a woman who feels that because she's making more money, she should have more say. Now, I would agree with you. That is a woman who is going to be difficult. That's somebody you may have to really consider putting away. But because we're being programmed daily, minute by the minute on what the fuck we should be doing, you have women buying into this ideology. I'm also say this too. Women, get rid of your hoe friends. Get you some married women who have been successfully married and be around them and see how they running their shit. And I guarantee you, some of them women making more than their husbands, but they at home with their husband.
I told my children, right? I have 4 sons. I told my children, my oldest 3 children, I told them, hey, men meet ladies and have babies. And I understand the whole marriage thing is pure biology. Men meet ladies and have babies, okay? Like, this is just how biology works. And so my little baby son, he just turned 1 year old. Congratulations. Hey, my little 1-year-old. He's walking around now, right? And he was walking towards the plug. And I said, hey, don't grab that. And I said it like that. But he be with his mama, right? And so he started crying. And his little butt walked into my arms, his big tears just, and I was like, it don't matter how much money in my pocket. You hear my voice and you know I'm a man. It doesn't matter how much money I have in my pocket. You see me get busy and you know I'm a man. And so I'm asking all you wonderful women in America, y'all better stop playing because you're living in an imaginary world. The family has disappeared. I put accountability matters. And so I said we were not doing what we're supposed to do. And so the response is the degenerate culture. Right? Baby mama culture. You'll have my baby, but you won't be my lady. Girls, you crazy. Are you crazy, woman?
I agree.
You'll have my baby, but you won't be my lady. And you're going to try to charge me for a baby. It's a scam and a hustle. Baby mama culture is a whole market, nigga. It's the dark arts of perversion.
Man, you got to understand that who you deposit that seed in, it matters. It's like any investment. You got to be careful where you put your money into. So the one thing that we have to stop being, when we talk about accountability, let's go there then. You know, men, we led by lust too much. You led by lust. You just see the skirt, you see the breast, and that's what you running with. You really got to start thinking about the character of who you going to be with, and then you take action. You be a man of action. Say, hey, I'm going to get you, and I'm going to build with you, and that's how we going to move. I think that's where we can be more accountable.
Be very specific. Like the woman my woman right now, you know what I told her? I told her, I was like, listen here, I'm looking to have babies. I'm looking for a wife, right? I want my woman to have both of their parents still married because I need you to know that no matter what happens, it has to be sustainable. You just don't give up. If you're quitters, imitate quitters, all right? If you grew up in a household and you saw people quit, you have the capacity to quit because that's what you've been exposed to. No one showed you the grit to get through this shit. That's what I'm telling my woman. And I'm talking to her in this way. I'm very, very intentional. And so I'm like, I want to meet your family. I want to shake your father's hand. I want to ask for his daughter because I want him to know that I respect the whole tradition of family and men acknowledging that's my daughter. And I want to give him the opportunity. If he wants to squeeze my hand, then squeeze my hand. If we want to thump, then we got to thump. And if you're going to find out how much I love your daughter, do you understand? And then it's going to be very awkward when we have to go to the barbecue, okay?
The common ground that you and I share is that we both had our fathers. Because I was the very same way when I was 18 and I asked my, wife's dad, can I marry her? I went to him as a man. I knew that was something that I needed to do. And I made the promise to him that, hey, I'm going to take care of your daughter. So I stepped up and did that. Number two to this, a lot of people talk about divorce. Well, what happens when you break up? Hey, go ahead.
Asking for your wife, asking her father to marry his daughter. That's a very masculine thing.
Very.
How much money did you have to do that? You see, like, I'm trying to demystify this whole a man is about money. No, a man is about character. A man is about action. A man is very intentional, very deliberate with his behavior. This is masculine.
Life is ebbs and flow, because also too, when I first married her, she had no money. I went to the military. We talked about this. The two quickest ways to enter into the middle class is the military and marriage, right? We did it both simultaneously. I went in and I was the provider for her to go get a degree. And when she obtained that degree, yes, of course she made considerably more than me. But guess what? It's us working together. It's the two coming together to make it better. It's not a you versus me type of situation. We've made it into this individual thing, and that's why a lot of people do break up. And you're right. You can't. Quitting begets quitting.
Sweet strength. The thing you just said is sweet strength.
Right.
Yes. I'm not trying to overpower you. I'm not trying to be mean to you. No. I'm trying to create sustainability, stability, so that you can go to school. Most people quit college because they can't. They're either trying to work or the housing is an issue. It's instability that makes it hard to get your degree. And so if you're working, doing the sweat labor in America, keeping America together, she has the opportunity to get an education, to participate. And then when she makes more money, hey, I created the opportunity for this to happen, and it shouldn't even be a conversation. You should already know it.
Exactly. Now that I've elevated you, doesn't elevate you past me. What we've done is we've come together, we've combined resources, we've combined being diligent, working hard to create this life for our family. And that's how you have a kingdom. But it starts with a king. That's exactly what happens. It starts with the fighter. Somebody's going to go out there, provide, fight, and take care of that family. Hey, I went through a divorce with this lady I'm talking about, and I realized over time I should have never divorced my wife. I should have definitely stayed in that relationship and made it work, because a lot of times we bicker about small things that are minute. It really doesn't matter. So even at this very moment, I'm reconciled with my wife to get my marriage back. Why am I talking about that? Because everybody's running away from marriage in the thought that it may end. And it's like, we're not going to save the family if we don't make it sustainable. So not just entering into marriage, but also keeping it together and understanding that we let all these outside things ruin our relationships, such as money, such as lust, all these things that just enter in that don't have to be there. You have to be disciplined. You have to work with your partner. You have to keep it tight.
I'm also divorced, right? And just because it didn't work, it doesn't change the standard. The standard is still to be married. The standard is still to have a family. And so when I see the things that are the pressure points, the pain points for marriage, then I'm supposed to fix it. I'm supposed to fix the thing. I'm not supposed to just sit there and say, oh, marriage is broken, forget marriage. No, I'm supposed to understand why marriage is broken and tweak the system so that marriage is good again.
Right.
Make marriage good again.
That's
Make
the
marriage
tagline.
great again.
Make marriage great again. That is look, we were talking about this too. Where is the family man? Where's the example of the family man? All we see is scam culture, criminality, gangster, dope dealer, which we know where that goes. But we do not lift up in our community the blue collar worker. We don't lift up because guess what? Your baby daddy, most of y'all out here in TV land that's watching us, your baby daddy broke or he a blue collar worker paying child support. Y'all don't got no high value men out there. You're lying. You're full of shit. You know for a fact that most of y'all, because the men that y'all want to sleep with, the desirable men, they don't do shit. They're not doing. I take that. I don't want to say that.
If you're quantifying high value man by a dollar amount and you're saying $100,000 a year, then it's like less than 10% of those type of men in America. And so it's statistically improbable. It's an absolute lie if all of you have that person. That's not how our system is built up. But a high value man is the man who's willing to do the work. The man who we were having this conversation about how you build a company. And if you don't have work ethic, and if simultaneously you don't have creativity, then how can you build anything? And America is falling apart because men just don't have the creativity to build. When you look back at the history of America, I was talking about Henry Ford, and Henry Ford didn't really come into prominence and start his company until after 40 years old, right? And so men really hit their stride, but he was just a mechanic. And so now Once you understand what it is that you want to do, you see what the nation needs, then your imagination creates the thought to say, hey, I'm tired of seeing all these horses. Man, that was the number one issue in the late 1800s. There were too many horses in populated societies. So Chicago, when you go and you see the brownstones and they have real high steps, it was built like that because the streets were filled with horse shit. If you have 1 million people, you probably have 1 million horses. Like if when you go back and you see the laws,
I never knew that.
they were worried about too much horse manure everywhere and how you dispose of all this horse manure. And so while today we were worried about pollution in the sky, they were worried about pollution on the ground. As technology advances, the human person will always think himself out of the problem. And so American men, we have to think ourselves out of this damn problem.
Also understanding that you have these different points you hit in life as men. You just said something very powerful. And you see this with a lot of men who've gone on to be very successful. Hey man, it is expected that you are supposed to be a millionaire by 25.
Crazy.
Maybe even in your 30s. But if you look at a lot of successful men, they really don't hit their stride until post 40.
A lot of guys ain't even graduated college yet.
You have to get through this life and figure it out and understand it's a journey. All this information we drop on y'all, I'm going to be 40 in February. I don't know when you're going to be 40. But guess what? We have accumulated this information through living our lives and going through maturation.
Bro, I'm 32 years old. You better stop playing with me.
Hey man, hey, they see the grays popping up, the beard. They they want a sugar daddy.
A sugar daddy.
But at the end, but I
don't want no sugar babies.
I'm a sugar daddy who gonna want some sugar. But anyways, I said all that and I just talked about getting back with my wife. So that's whatever. We talking about marriage here. But
so what? Men don't cheat. Hey, if you don't like it. Because look, I was trying to talk to my woman, and she got mad at me. I don't know why she got so mad at me, but I was talking about Kelly Ripa, and I was like, man, how many Hollywood D's did she get? And my woman said, she's married. I'm like, okay, number one, 50% of marriages end in divorce. That's like the statistic, right? And then in Hollywood, the number is even higher, and infidelity is even higher. And so I'm just looking at the statistical probability that Kelly Ripa, even though she's been married for 30 years, someone's been unfaithful. That was my only position. And she acted like the whole world was collapsing because instead of being factually accurate, we want to think with our feelings, right?
Right.
And if I think with my feelings, I can't build nothing because I can't look at the market and have statistical analysis and say, I have to compete with this person. And then I have to do the work so I know that I'm out competing this person. Hey, this company that we're building, I'm going to outcompete everybody.
We are. I got to make a stance, though. I'm anti-cheating because I see where cheating gets you and your family. I see where it leaves you. Again, I talked about lust. I talked about the things that destroys America. You know, that temporary pleasure causes so much long-term pain and long-term damage to your family, even for women. Like, everything that you put, I'm talking about us both because it takes us both.
All of my biblical heroes had multiple women. And those are the people that I aspire to. And so I hear what you're saying. I understand it. But I have a big personality. I have a whole lot of energy. I'm going to meet the most wonderful people in the whole entire world. I'm not going to cheat on anybody. And I'm going to love everybody.
My man's is Neo, the polygamist out here.
I ain't no polygamist.
I feel like this, man. It's like this. We gang when we leak up. Me and my lady got to be tight. When you start letting other people in, and I'm just talking about personal experience. I get the Bible. I used to use that too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, for me, personal experience. Man, my life was so chaotic with multiple women coming around, destroying what I had. My life is much more peaceful, much more focused when it in solitude with this individual and I'm running my family. That's just me personally. And I think a lot of men, if we being honest, a lot of men just really can't handle multiple women like that.
Two things can be true at the exact same time. I told you those are my favorite people.
That's true.
Now, in my life, I love monogamy. I think the experience of a person is so much better than when we get to dive into each other, learn each other's thoughts and behave and patterns. That's exciting to me. I think that's a whole lot of fun. But even though I think that's a whole lot of fun, it doesn't change that in my DNA, I'm very excited about women.
That's true.
I love people. Hey, just because me and you were friends, that doesn't mean that I can't have another friend. And I think that's so strange. For me, because I love the art of the conversation. I think the conversation can change this nation. That's why I think it's important for us to continue to have this dialogue with you so we can fix this thing. If we don't first have the thought energy on how we fix this thing, then we can never have the actual physical thing on how we fix this thing. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm only talking to you on camera because the media is the fastest way to get the message out. So many men is like, man, what am I gonna do that for? What would I do that for? We're so intention-based, it can prevent us from doing the thing that needs to be done. And right now we need to have Black men talking about their real lived experiences so that we can change culture. If they don't know that we're having a really hard time, if no one knows that you're sleeping in the parking lot at Planet Fitness, how the hell can they help you? If no one knows that you're swimming in debt from child support, how can they help you? And if you're not talking to other men telling them that you have a skill and an ability, then how can I hire you? You see? Conversation changes your life if you have the right conversation. And I want to be honest and transparent because I want everyone to have reasonable expectations. If I tell my woman, going back to the marriage thing, if I tell my woman I will never cheat on you, then I'm setting everyone up for failure because I know that I have access to beautiful, beautiful women.
But I also think too, knowing your strengths, weaknesses, what you can do without lying. You know what I'm saying? So if that's something that you can't do, then I'm not getting into a committed relationship or having children with this woman. Because the truth is, women want monogamy from men. Women want a monogamous man to come in and take care of them. But there are requirements that we need on them because it's in a woman's nature to be with one source.
To protect her resource.
Exactly. But it's also we have the battle of the flesh. The man has the battle of flesh because you got to keep chaos out of your situation. If you're not controlling your flesh, you're going to bring chaos. All them people you talked about in the Bible, David came with some issues. Solomon they were not without issues. Yeah, they was fucking with the hoes, but go read. That shit came with some issues. It is the man that conducted himself in an orderly fashion that was able to obtain the blessings in a way that God was providing for him in a great way.
So Jacob's father and Esau's father, that would be Isaac, right? And Isaac's wife, theoretically, he had one wife, but that one wife was a devious woman to deceive him in such the way that she did. When you tell your woman that I'm not competing anymore, I'm out of the game, then all of a sudden it's like you're emasculating yourself. Like, I know that I'm gonna be playing the game until I'm 90 years old. I'm in the game. Women find me attractive. I enjoy conversation. I'm in the game.
Right.
And now my self-discipline, I have the opportunity to participate in whatever relationship, but I choose not to. But I'm still in the game. I'm still in the game. I'm still competing. I'm putting up shots, dog. Sometimes it's not flirting for me to have an intellectual conversation about things that are going to happen. That's not flirting.
I feel like this too. Women, y'all not gonna like this. It don't hurt me to be good to one woman and lose her because she's replaceable. Women are very replaceable. Women are way more replaceable than men. And you've even seen that in the Bible. So,
oh man, we're about to run out of time.
I
only said that because man, I just wanted to go.
We got to do a part 2.
We're acting like the thing that drives men is competition, to be hungry. And the thirst for women is part of that hunger.
I tell you what, we are running out of time. Why don't we do, when we get into our part 2, why don't we talk about cheating?
But that's a part, just
go ahead.
That's a part of the primal beast, is to chase women.
But what's the results of it? I want this conversation. Y'all got to tune in.
Unlimited success.
We can do to be continued.
Drake, Puff Daddy, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, success. Go get it.
The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive.